As the situation further, we're joined in our studios here by Professor David Moore from the Department of Development Issues at the University of Johannesburg. Prof, good morning to you and thank you so much for coming.
Good morning, Palesa. Thanks.
Well, we all waited in anticipation and watched as President Robert Mugabe made his address last night. Did you at any point expect that he wasn't going to resign?
Oh, halfway through the announcement, I thought he was still resigning. The body language was looking very contrite and so on. I think people were packing their bags, Zimbabweans who want to go home. But he's fooled us once again. I think, though, that there's more behind this than just Mugabe. I think, how did he get this information? That ZANU-PF had not followed the constitutional rules for his impeachment, right? There wasn't quorum. Many of those people had actually been dumped from the branches when G40 was dumping people as Mugabe was out of the country, right? Now, how did he learn this? Also, I think we're going to have to know the uniforms much better about those security chiefs, because I think two of those security chiefs was Chiruri, police commissioner, and Zimondi, the prison service guy. Those guys were under detention up until yesterday, right? So they are out, right? They're joining this army to make it joining Chwenga to make it look much more unified, and you saw Mugabe right there saying, we can't have these spats in public. Because remember back last week, before Monday or Tuesday, the police actually tried to arrest Chwenga when he came back from China. So this is in the public, and Mugabe and these guys are saying, no, wait a minute, we don't have these spats, we're unified. And he's kind of giving the message to the region and the international community that, no, this is not a coup, everything's under control, we'll be fine. Very clever.
But what do you think is going to happen? I mean, he's even pledged to preside over the party's next Congress in December. So does he see loopholes in terms of the constitutions, because he kept referring to the constitution of the party as well?
Well, apparently, if that constitution is followed very closely, Mnangagwa has not been placed properly, right? So Mpoko could be the next president or acting president of the country. If the impeachment goes properly in Parliament, which is what they're talking about right now, you know, 50% to bring the motion in, then a subcommittee of 9 people from the Senate and the Parliament, and then a 66% vote that he's finished. So if Mugabe is impeached, the next in line in the party becomes the acting president until the end of term, which would be actually until July next year. Now, if Mpoko is the first secretary of the party, that would make him the next president. That could be the plan, and that would allow Mugabe to remain the president of the party, because people vote directly for the president, it's not through the party, right? And then he could run, or to an extent, run that Congress in December. That could be derailed, but that's what some people are telling me is a strategy. Very complicated. Zimbabwean politics is always very, very complicated, and there's always a surprise.
So are we likely to see any surprises by midday today?
You can't predict. I don't think he'll resign as president of the country. No, I think
because we've just seen a clip from the chief whip in Parliament saying that it's going to happen. By the end of this week, he would not be the president of Zimbabwe.
End of this week, yes. So Mugabe won't resign today. This is my guess. I'll probably be proven wrong. He won't resign today. Parliament will go through starting tomorrow, and this has been set in motion by for quite a while. Paul Mangama and Douglas Monzoro, who, if you saw that movie, The Democrats, these were the guys who pushed that constitution through in COPAC, right? They've been working to get this parliamentary procedure going. So I would bet, not too much money, that today at noon, no, he won't resign. He says, no, we'll go through the processes. Then the constitutional process in Parliament will go through. By Thursday, he will be impeached. But whether Mnangagwa will be the leader of ZANU-PF or Mpoko, who apparently is back in the country. Remember, he was the second vice president. Apparently he's back in the country. He could be the top-notch guy in ZANU-PF. Therefore, he would be acting president of the country.
And your take on reports that we might see opposition parties working together?
Well, they've been trying to work together for quite a while, the alliance and so on. I think there will be some difficulty among the opposition. Will they go for a transitional government? Will Tendai Biti, who's now the leader of one of these smaller parties, just say, well, look, if we get this transition going, if we get Mugabe out, wouldn't I rather be finance minister than run in an election? So there'll be some difficulty in saying, okay, let's say this goes ahead. Let's say the December Congress, Extraordinary Congress of ZANU-PF results in ZANU-PF patching up their differences. And then do we go straight forward to an election? Remember, ZANU-PF is pretty good at fudging elections, right? So the opposition will be wondering, are we really ready for this? Should we join a transitional government?
Well, it was just that Tendai Biti on the show a few minutes ago, and he's very adamant that Mugabe has to go. But, Prof, we'll leave it at that for now. Let's wait and see what happens at midday.
We live in suspense.
Thanks you so much. Well, there you have it, Professor David Moore from the Department of Development Issues at the University of Johannesburg, talking to us about the developments in Zimbabwe. Of course, as I said, this is a developing story. All right.